So it's been a few days since the Ballon d'Or ceremony took place, and now it's official. Messi has won his record 8th Ballon d'Or after leading his country to World Cup glory last year. So he is officially the best footballer in the world. However, is that the actual truth? Is Messi actually the best footballer on the planet at the moment, or is it someone else? We'll take a look at the top 5 candidates and then let you decide who you think is actually the best footballer on the planet. But before we get started, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to the channel. So we'll start off with the Ballon d'Or winner himself, Lionel Messi. There is no doubt that at 36, Messi is still a fantastic player. Last season he was at PSG and got 32 goal involvements in 32 league games, as well as 8 goal involvements in the Champions League. Whilst it may not be vintage Messi who was scoring 91 goals in a calendar year, these are still incredible numbers for a then 35-year-old. And he of course also achieved his long-awaited World Cup trophy with Argentina, in a tournament where he also won the Golden Ball, awarded to the best player in the tournament. He scored 7 goals and got 3 assists in 7 World Cup games and essentially carried his team to glory. However, since July, Messi has been playing for Inter Miami in the United States, and whilst he's been nothing short of amazing, scoring 11 goals and getting 4 assists in 14 games, he is now playing at a considerably lower level. According to global football rankings, the MLS is ranked 16th in the world in terms of quality of the league. That's behind leagues such as the Danish League and even the Austrian Bundesliga. So whilst Messi no doubt is still an amazing player, can the world's best player be in the 16th best league in the world? Now moving on to some candidates that fell short of the crown. When it comes to trophies, few can compare to Erling Haaland at the moment. With Man City last season he won the treble, which included the Premier League, the best league in the world, and the Champions League, arguably the most difficult trophy to win in world football. He then also won with Manchester City the UEFA Super Cup and will be competing in the Club World Cup next month, which Man City is a heavy favourite to win. Individually he's also been brilliant. Last season he made 53 appearances in all competitions, scoring an absurd 52 goals and getting a further 9 assists. With these stats he won a whole host of individual accolades including the Premier League Golden Boot, Premier League Player and Young Player of the Season, Champions League Top Scorer, among many other individual accolades. So speaking purely from a stats point of view, it's hard to argue that Haaland isn't the best player in the world at the moment. However, context is important. Haaland plays for Man City, who have been by far the best team on the planet for the last 12 months or so. Therefore, it's significantly easier to win trophies and get incredible individual statistics when playing with world-class players under the best manager in the world. Also, Haaland is after all just a striker. Pep has given him a very limited role, which involves him putting the ball in the back of the net. And whilst he does that at an elite level, can a player with such a limited role be considered the best footballer on the planet? Now moving on to Kylian Mbappe. The 24-year-old has had an amazing season individually. For PSG last season he got 41 goals and 10 assists. Then for France in the World Cup he was amazing, getting so close to winning back-to-back tournaments after scoring a hat-trick in the final. A performance which will go down in history as one of the greatest by an individual player. He also won the World Cup Golden Boot with 8 goals in the tournament, and with PSG also won Ligue 1. This season he's carried on his goal-scoring form with already 10 league goals in the first 9 games. However, there are a few things which weaken Mbappe's case as the best player in the world. The biggest one is the fact that he plays in Ligue 1, which whilst a top 5 league is probably the weakest one and for sure the least competitive, considering PSG spends significantly more than any other team in the league. Add to that he still hasn't won the Champions League trophy, a trophy which every other candidate today has won. And it doesn't look like he will win it this season either, after his team's awful showing in their 4-1 loss to Newcastle of all teams, a game in which he also went missing. Domestically, Mbappe and PSG are always amazing, but he really does need a Champions League trophy to justify being labelled as the best player in the world, or he must at least play in a more competitive league. Now it would be weird to speak about the best footballer in the world without talking about Cristiano Ronaldo. Unfortunately for him though, there's not much of an argument left anymore. Now as far as his whole career goes, there's no argument that he's among the GOATs, but focusing purely on the last year or so, it's hard to make a case for Cristiano Ronaldo. His exit from Manchester United last year was messy to say the least, and in his last 10 Premier League appearances, he only managed a single goal. However, since joining Al Nassr in Saudi, he's been firing the goals in yet again. Last season he got 14 goals and 2 assists in just 16 league games, but unfortunately fell short of winning the league. This season, he's been even better with 11 goals and 6 assists in just 10 league games. In all competitions, he has 22 goal involvements in just 14 games. Internationally, he has 9 goals in just 7 games in 2023, and he continues to break his own international goal scoring record with every game that passes by. These numbers are ridiculous for a 38-year-old, and Ronaldo is still an elite goal scorer. However, he does play in the Saudi Pro League, which according to global football rankings isn't even a top 30 league in the world. So whilst his goal scoring record is still amazing, it's not comparable to a Haaland, Mbappe or even a Messi. Internationally too, his 9 goals this year, whilst impressive, have been against the likes of Bosnia, Slovakia and Luxembourg. Hardly elite opposition. So with that being said, Ronaldo is still in 2023 one of the most potent strikers in the world and certainly the biggest name globally. However, he is no longer in the conversation when it comes to the best player in the world. He is arguably the most underrated player on the planet, but could Rodri actually be more than that? Is he actually the best player on the planet right now? Well, when it comes to trophies, he certainly has a strong case. Just like Haaland, he won the treble last season with Man City and actually scored the winner in the Champions League final, arguably the most important goal in Manchester City's history to date. Another strong case for Rodri is that he plays in the middle of the park. All the other players mentioned today are forwards, doing most of their work in the final third and so only need to use a certain skill set. Rodri, on the other hand, is a holding midfielder. This is a position which requires a player to pass, tackle, intercept, dribble and even shoot sometimes. And these are all things that Rodri does at an elite level. He is probably the most complete player on the planet at the moment, and he is probably the most important player in Guardiola's team. So if you're the most important player in the best team in the world, aren't you by default the best player on the planet? What does go against Rodri is his lack of goal involvements. He scored 4 goals last season and has 3 this season. As a holding midfielder, it isn't his job to score or assist, but ultimately goals win games. Fans and the media will always appreciate those players with the highest goal involvements, so Rodri is unfortunately always going to go under the radar when it comes to discussing the best footballer on the planet. And that was it for today's video, but what do you guys think? Who is actually the best footballer on the planet at the moment? Is it Ballon d'Or holder Lionel Messi, or is it someone else mentioned in this video? Or is it perhaps someone not mentioned in this video at all? Let us know in the comments below, and please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel.